There's a truth we often overlook in our quest for success, recognition, and validation, especially as women in a world that is constantly trying to define us. That truth is this: true confidence comes from being unapologetically yourself. The moment you stop seeking approval, stop trying to conform to someone else's standards, is the moment you begin to unlock the most powerful version of yourself. Confidence doesn't come from fitting into a mold, but from breaking free from the very idea that you need to fit into one. It comes from standing tall in your uniqueness and embracing who you really are. If you want to build unshakable confidence, the foundation is this: learn to embrace your authenticity. Stop worrying about whether you're measuring up to someone else's expectations or societal standards. Stop questioning if you're doing enough, being enough, or showing up in the right way. The truth is, there is no perfect standard to live by. There is only the standard you create when you allow yourself to be free, genuine, and real. Being authentic is not always easy. We live in a world full of comparisons, filters, and constant evaluations. The pressure to perform, to fit into the boxes others create is immense, which you must remind yourself every day that you are not here to fulfill someone else's narrative. You are here to fulfill your own. Every time you step away from what others expect of you and turn inward to reconnect with your true self, you build the kind of self-assurance that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. Consider this: what would happen if you stopped trying to be perfect and simply allowed yourself to be real? Not the version of yourself that society has told you to be, not the version you think is acceptable or good enough, but the version of you that is deeply aligned with who you are at your core. Authenticity isn't a one-time decision, it's a practice, a continuous unfolding of your true self, a commitment to living out loud with all your strengths and imperfections. Imagine for a moment that you are free to be exactly who you are. No masks, no pretenses, just you. You would no longer feel the weight of comparison. You would no longer feel insecure because you're not measuring up to some arbitrary standard. Instead, you would feel a profound sense of freedom, the kind of freedom that allows you to step boldly into every room you enter, knowing that you have nothing to prove to anyone. Your worth would no longer be contingent on external validation. It would be intrinsic, unshakable, and permanent. The key to confidence is not perfection, but presence. Being present in your own skin, comfortable with the person you are right now, with all your quirks, your beauty, your flaws, your strengths, and your vulnerabilities. When you show up authentically, you send a powerful message to the world. I am enough just as I am. That message is magnetic. People are drawn to authenticity like moths to a flame because it creates a sense of trust and connection. When you fully show up as a person who you are right now, when you show up as a person who fully shows up for you the way you are, and when you fully show up as the person you want to be, the way you want to be, when you show up authentically, you send a powerful message to the world. I am enough just as I am. That message is magnetic. People are drawn to authenticity as a moth to a flame. When you are authentic, you invite others to be their true selves too. You give them permission to do so. There is a profound beauty in being who you truly are, and that beauty cannot be replicated by anyone else. Your voice, your perspective, your experiences, these things matter. They hold immense value, not because they conform to someone else's expectations, but because they are yours. You are not meant to blend in. You are meant to stand out in your own unique way. And the moment you embrace that, you will realize just how much power you have. Let me share with you a powerful truth. No one else can be you better than you can. There is no one on this earth who carries your specific combination of talents, experiences, and insights. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you begin to understand that your uniqueness is your greatest asset. It is not a liability, it is your superpower. When you operate from that place of self-acceptance, you begin to see yourself not as lesser than anyone else, but as an integral part of the greater whole. You begin to view your place in this world as essential, irreplaceable. It's important to note that embracing your authenticity doesn't mean ignoring your growth or avoiding self-improvement. It means acknowledging where you are and giving yourself permission to grow, evolve, and adapt, all while staying grounded in who you are at your core. True confidence isn't about perfection, nor is it about striving to fit into someone else's mold. It's about owning your journey, whatever that may look like. Your imperfections, your vulnerabilities, your mistakes. They are all part of your story, and they are all worth embracing. Here's the thing, when you stop hiding and pretending to be something you're not, you unlock the ability to truly connect with others. People can sense when you're being real with them. They can sense when you're not putting up a front. They can sense when you're living authentically, and they're drawn to it. Why? Because in a world full of masks, authenticity is rare, and rare things are valuable. When you let your true self shine through, you give others the courage to do the same. In that moment, you create a space of safety, vulnerability, and trust, and that is where real connection happens. It's also important to recognize that your authenticity doesn't make you immune to criticism or judgment. But here's the difference. When you live authentically, you don't take criticism personally. You don't internalize the negative judgments of others because you know that their opinion doesn't define you. The opinions of others are not your truth. When you stand firm in your authenticity, you understand that no one can take away what is yours, your power, your worth, your identity. You become impervious to the fleeting judgments of others because your sense of self is rooted in something far more substantial, your own truth. In this pursuit of authenticity, there will be moments of doubt, of insecurity. That's part of the human experience. But you must remember, doubt is not a signal to abandon authenticity. It's a signal to return to it. Every time you feel lost, unsure, or overwhelmed by the expectations of others, it's an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. It's a call to remember that you are enough as you are right now. So I challenge you today, embrace your authenticity. Let go of the stories and labels that have held you captive. Stand tall in your true self, because when you do, you will not only build unshakable confidence, you will inspire others to do the same. In a world where so many people are pretending to be something they are not, your authenticity will be a beacon of light, showing others the power of simply being yourself. And that is a confidence that can never be shaken. Life is, without a doubt, a series of challenges, some small, some seemingly insurmountable. But there's a profound truth about these challenges that we often overlook, especially as women. Navigating a world full of expectations is a true measure of how strong and resilient we are, is a true measure of your strength. So for new leaders, strengthening your confidence that you can handle challenges, that your ability to rise after a setback, to keep going after life knocks you down, is the true measure of your strength. Confidence isn't built in the moments of success, when everything is going right and the world is applauding your every move. It's forged in the quiet, difficult moments, when you fail, when you stumble, when everything feels like it's falling apart. It is in those moments where resilience is born, that unshakable confidence takes root. Unconditional love, found on the inside. Resilience is the foundation of confidence because it shapes how we perceive adversity. Too often, we view challenges as obstacles that stand in our way, things that prevent us from reaching our goals or living the life we desire. But that's a narrow view. In reality, challenges are not the barriers we think they are. They are the very things that shape our growth. Every hardship, every setback, every failure is an opportunity in disguise. The key to becoming truly resilient lies in how you respond to these difficulties. Instead of running from them, you must learn to lean into them, to use them as stepping stones on the path to something greater. When you face adversity and stand tall in the face of it, something magical happens. You begin to see your own power. You realize that you are not defined by your struggles, but by how you choose to rise above them. The more you learn to navigate these tough times with courage and grace, the stronger you become, not just in your actions, but in your very sense of self. You begin to understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but rather a part of the journey toward it. The truth is, we all face hardships. No one escapes this fact. We all encounter moments of doubt, frustration, and fear. The difference between those who succeed and those who falter is not in their ability to avoid setbacks, but in their ability to bounce back after they happen. The most successful people are not those who have never experienced hardship. They are the ones who have learned how to face it, how to endure it, and how to turn it into something powerful. Think about it, the greatest achievements in history didn't come from people who had it easy. They came from individuals who faced immense challenges and yet refused to be defeated by them. The story of resilience is not the story of perfect people. It is the story of people who fell down, who were beaten and bruised, and yet still found the strength to get back up. Resilience is the art of continuing despite the odds, despite the failure, despite the pain. For women, this is especially important. The world can be unforgiving, and at times it can feel like we are expected to carry the weight of everything on our shoulders. The pressure to succeed, to balance work, family, relationships, and personal well-being can feel like an overwhelming burden. But here's a critical piece of wisdom we must remember. You are not broken because of your struggles. You are strengthened by them. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to build your resilience, to fortify your confidence, and to deepen your belief in yourself. The more you endure, the more you expand your capacity to withstand life's trials, and the more your confidence will grow. In the face of setbacks, it's easy to succumb to self-doubt. It's easy to believe that failure means you're not good enough or that you're incapable of succeeding. But self-doubt is not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of where you are in the moment. It's a temporary emotion that passes, but it doesn't define your future. When you face doubt and fear, remind yourself, these feelings are not who you are. They are simply signals that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone and growing. Growth always feels uncomfortable at first, but it's a necessary part of your evolution. The greatest gifts you can give yourself is the ability to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing failure as something to be feared or avoided, start viewing it as a lesson, an integral part of the process. Every setback is a chance to learn, to adapt, and to become stronger. When you shift your perspective in this way, you stop being a victim of your circumstances, and you start becoming the creator of your own resilience. You stop seeing yourself as someone who is constantly reacting to life's challenges, and instead you start seeing yourself as someone who is actively shaping her own future, no matter what happens along the way. It's also crucial to recognize that resilience isn't about pretending that everything is okay when it isn't. It's not about burying your emotions or suppressing your struggles. True resilience is about allowing yourself to feel the pain, to face the discomfort, and then choosing to rise anyway. It's about honoring your feelings without letting them control you. It's about acknowledging the difficulty, but not letting it define your path. In that space between pain and growth, your confidence is forged. The act of showing up, even when it feels hard, is what strengthens you. And this is where women often get it wrong. We feel that we must be perfect, that we must have it all together at all times. We fear failure because we fear being judged, criticized, or perceived as weak. But failure does not make you weak. It makes you human. It is not an indictment of your ability, but rather an opportunity to prove just how resilient you can be. No one is strong all the time, and no one succeeds on their first try. The journey to confidence is paved with mistakes, missteps, and moments of doubt. But if you continue to rise after each fall, if you continue to move forward despite the fear, your confidence will become unshakable. Remember, resilience is not about avoiding the storm. It's about learning to dance in the rain. It's about adapting to whatever life throws your way and finding your strength in the face of adversity. Life is never going to be perfect, and there will always be challenges to face. But each challenge is a chance to strengthen your resolve, to deepen your character, and to prove to yourself that no matter what happens, you will always rise. So the next time you face a setback, don't retreat or shy away. Stand tall, feel the fear, feel the discomfort, and then choose to move forward. Every time you get back up, you reinforce the belief that you are stronger than any obstacle you face. And with each step, your resilience grows, and so does your unshakable confidence. It's in this process that you will truly learn who you are, and more importantly, who you can become.